Hello, Conduit. We are continuing in our Lent series, Divine Interruptions. We've been looking at how exactly it is that Jesus comes in and interrupts things in our lives, right? We've talked about how he interrupts our plans, right? This week, we've talked about how Jesus comes in and interrupts our fears, right? Fear is something it's a basic human experience. We all know what it's like to be afraid of something, whether that's being afraid of heights or being afraid of something more serious, being afraid of loss, being afraid of being stuck, any number of things. And this week, when we kind of looked in Matthew chapter 14, we were looking at Jesus and the famous passage in which he's walking on water and Peter comes out to him. And it's a story like not many of us are fishermen, or if we are fishermen, like not many of us are sailing out on seas. The ocean is not nearby. I doubt any of us have been stuck in a severe storm while out on a body of water. But we all can still relate to that experience of feeling like we don't have control over everything. Like we don't have the solution to this. Like maybe we're just kind of stuck. That is a very human experience, and we can see that in this story. We can see the disciples being stuck in a boat, unable to really solve their problems, unable to kind of move forward, and needing something, right? And we kind of talked about this in the passage. The passage really lends itself to this, in that like when Jesus shows up, the first thing Jesus does is, first thing he doesn't do is he doesn't get rid of the storm, right? Like we would think, oh, like if this, like why doesn't Jesus just show up on the scene and immediately get rid of the storm? Just immediately calm it. He's like, all right, I'm here, like it's over, it's calmed, but he doesn't. The first thing he does is announce that he's there, right? He says, don't fear, take courage, it's me, I'm here. And so we get from this idea that perhaps it's not that we need to be looking for the removal or the cessation or the ending of a particular storm in our life, but perhaps we need to be looking for Christ's presence with us in the middle of that storm, in the middle of that difficulty, in the middle of that trial. And the presence of Christ is what makes that difference when we begin to say, okay, I'm going to act in faith. I'm going to trust in Jesus. I'm going to take a step and come out of the boat, right? And that boat might be a number of different things for you, right? The boat might be a set of circumstances in which you feel stuck, but moving out of that circumstances requires significantly more faith, right? It requires risk. It requires walking out onto the water a little bit and trusting that Jesus is going to have you. It might require, maybe the boat isn't so much that you're being inactive in something. Maybe you're actively reacting to your situation in a broken way. Maybe you're perhaps like, sometimes we can get angry if we're fearful. Sometimes we can run to coping mechanisms, things like that. So what is there a broken way we are acting out in the middle of our fear? And perhaps the right thing would be to do is, rather than trying to grab control and trying to control everything and feel okay, maybe we need to just be still, and we do need to practice some inaction in the middle of it. And that all depends on like what's your situation, where you find yourself at. Are you in a place where you feel like Christ is calling you to take a step of faith out of your inaction, or he's calling you to step back and trust him and to step back away from your reaction to the situation of fear? And all of this, right, like has to be done in this place of faith, a place in which we are saying, Christ, like invite me out to you. Christ, I want to know you. I want to experience you in this. The Christian walk is one of difficulty, one of which there's difficult growth, and a season of trial, a season of fear is a place where we get to learn the goodness of God in a deeper way. We get to learn the trust in Him in a new way. So this week in your group, I would encourage you to lean into that with each other, right? Meet each other where you are at in this season. You might find yourself in a season in which, like, maybe there's things in your past in which you've had to deal with in fear, but maybe that's not true. Maybe you are dealing with fear right now. And I think you should take the time to be in the community that you find yourself in this week and to share that, to lean into each other and help each other, encourage each other to take that next step of faith and to allow Jesus' presence to disrupt the grip of fear and how it's controlling influence in your life. Hope all of you have a good rest of the week. I'll talk to you later.